Yes, it's John G. Sutton. Tales from the Jails. I'll tell you some rather dark stories today. Black humour, yeah, that the jailers seem to enjoy. I will start off with a little tale from Wormwood Scrubs. It was 76, I believe it was, 1976, not 1876. I'm not that old. Anyway, uh, 1976 at the Scrubs, we had a young man come in. He'd probably be about 21, 22. He was only a young man. He'd been in a police station. He was being questioned by the police. His mother was there. The allegation, I believe, was burglary or something like that. And what he'd done was the police officer that was interviewing him had said something to him, and he'd taken umbrage at this. He'd taken a dislike to this particular officer, and he'd picked a typewriter up. I mean, we're going back 1976. They had the old plinkety plonk typewriters, yeah, like a Remington typewriter, you know, so that kind of thing, yeah, quite hefty. Anyway, he'd picked one of these up and threw it at the police sergeant that was interviewing him. Unfortunately, he missed the police sergeant and hit his mother in the head, killing her outright. So you can imagine by the time he got to the Scrubs from the police station, he was quite distressed. We greeted him with the usual welcome, you know. C2 landing, you'll be all right here, lad. We know your type. Seriously, they said things like that to him. He just accidentally killed his mother. We know your type. Yeah, get in that cell. Yeah, well, no, seriously. I mean, don't matter how compassionate you might be, you know, you can't stop the staff from ripping the piss. That's what they did. Yeah. Was it Strange Ways? Yeah, and it was round about 1980, I believe, 79. And coming to walk round the prison was the then Home Secretary, William Whitelaw. Yeah. Now, the staff decided that they'd greet William Whitelaw, because they didn't like him, you see, because at the time he was trying to rearrange the systems for the remuneration of prison staff, change the shifts and all that. They didn't like that whatsoever. So what they did was they got this old lag who was regularly in and out of prison, been in and out of prison all his life. You know, he'd probably done about 20, 30 prison sentences, all short stuff, you know. And what he used to do, this old lag, was if it was coming up to the October, November, and it was cold outside, because he was virtually a tramp, you know, he'd go and put the window in, smash a window, a shop window, and get arrested and get the magistrate to send him into Strange Ways 3 months, something like that. Thing was, you couldn't help this guy, because if you didn't send him to prison when he went to magistrate's court, he just went out and smashed another window. Eh? Yeah, anyway, this guy was completely bald. He was about 55, I suppose, but he looked about 75, you know. And they got him, the staff got him ready for Willie Whitelaw, yeah. Bald head, boot polish. They painted hair on his head in a boot polish thing with a big parting down the middle, dressed him up in a white jacket, yeah, and gave him a bowl full of slops. You know, I don't know what was in it. Cold tea, piss, who knows what was in it, yeah. And they sent him when William Whitelaw, the then Home Secretary, arrived on the rotunda at Strangeways, standing in the middle of the rotunda, up from E1, up the steps from E1, came this inmate, completely bald with black boot polish hair, yeah, and a stupid grin on his face because he knew it was a joke, yeah, walking towards William Whitelaw with this bowl of slops. Hey, he got within about, I reckon, about 3 yards of Willie Whitelaw, only had about 3 paces to step, and one of the principal officers grabbed him and threw him back down onto E1 landing, down the stairs, slops all over the place. We were all pissing ourselves laughing at this. Well, that seemed to me quite funny, you know. I don't think Willie Whitelaw would have been amused if he'd seen it, but he didn't see it, you see. Anyway, Another story about strange ways. I was in the census unit. I keep going on about the census unit, I know. But I was in the census unit on the Postal Allocation Centre. I might have told this story before, but anyway, it's kind of strangely twisted. Just demonstrates what wicked bastards some staff can be. And I was just censoring the mail. I think it was January 1975. I'd only just joined, And the officer who was doing the mail said, "Oh, look at this bastard here," holds it up, and it's a picture, like a Polaroid picture, of this woman with a leg on a chair and a fanny hanging out. Seriously. So he says, "We'll have this lad in." So sent the word out, send him in, So just after dinner, this lad came in, said, "Yeah, what is it? What you want me for, boss?" Said, "We've got something to show you, lad. Come here." Seriously, the staff used to talk quite normal when we were together, but you get an inmate in there, they'd put this rather gruff voice on, like, "Come here, lad, I want a word with you. See this? You're not allowed to receive pornographic pictures of women. Who is this? Do you recognise that woman? It was sent in the mail to you." Oh, he said, "It's my girlfriend, He said, "We don't want to see pictures of your girlfriend's fanny. When I send her pictures in like that, next time you write to her, advise her that it's got you in trouble." And he said, "We've all had a look at this, yeah? And we're all absolutely disgusted. Now get out of this office." And he ripped the paper thing up and threw it in the bin. Poor lad, he was very upset by that. Yeah. And of course it was quite an explicit photograph, but these things happen, don't they? But the staff didn't really take that into account, and off he went, deeply upset and embarrassed. That's the staff's idea of a bit of fun, Yeah, seriously, get yourself in prison. You're going to find that. Now, I had a little request from somebody who suggested that a nice song for me to sing, because they just love that subtle little voice of mine, is "House of the Rising Sun." Now, it's strange this, because go back 50 years, more than 50 years actually, probably about 53 years, 54 years. Yeah, there was a pop group out called the Animals, and the lead singer was a man called Eric Burdon. And at the time, I apparently used to look like Eric Burdon. And I was in Manchester one day. Seriously, in Manchester, it was evening, about 7:30 at night, just where with one of my friends. And these young women, started shouting, "That's Eric Burdon, it's Eric Burdon." And I saw him looking at me and come running. I said, "I'm not Eric Burdon. I'm not." "Yes, you are." I was off. Quite what they wanted, I'm not sure, but they were trying to grab me. I ran like bloody hell down Deansgate, I tell you. And I didn't think I looked like Eric Burdon, but they did. Anyway, the most famous song by the Animals was a big hit around about 1964, I believe, and it was "House of the Rising Sun." And by special request, I'm going to murder the first couple of verses, especially for you. Are you all sitting comfortably? Good. Then I shall begin. There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun. It's been the ruin of many a poor boy. In God, I know I'm one. Oh, mother, tell your children not to do what I have done and waste your life in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. That's all you're getting. I bet you're glad, aren't you? Hey, that's enough. Yes, that should put you off your tea. Anyway, hope you've subscribed. My name's John G. Sutton. This is Tales from the Jails. I'll be back.